Welcome everyone, Questini here with a discussion about the High Elves in Total War Warhammer 3 Immortal Empires. Now, I did a whole video on the subject of what's kind of broken about the High Elves in the game, but oh boy, was I wrong. Was I so very wrong. The High Elves, once you realize certain things that I personally didn't realize, because when I play campaigns, I may abuse certain things, but I'm not going out of my way to break the game. Some people do that, and they've discovered certain things that you might be surprised by. Like, for instance, playing an Allarielle campaign and having one-turn construction for free. Your mind breaks when you see that, doesn't it? It certainly does for me. And it's actually worse than it might seem. So what exactly is going on? Let me just end this turn and just showcase how ridiculous this is. And it's not just like, oh, in one province. No, it is in multiple provinces. So it's not free construction over here, but it's fairly cheap construction anyway. So what is going on? Well, one of the core parts of Warhammer 3, or one of the aspects that is available in Warhammer 3, is the load save character system. We all know it. It has allowed a significant amount of abuse in the past, as does region trading. The thing is, when a race is well designed, you don't need to use it to become really powerful. In the case of the High Elves, and yes, I'm just about to be attacked over there by, one of those bloodhosts, whatever. But in the case of the High Elves, because you only have the ability of recruiting 2 heroes until tier 4, unless you're playing Allarielle or, you get Emmerich Snowballs or something like that. You are not only rewarded heavily by doing this, but you're certainly incentivized to do it. So, like, now that my settlement is freaking tier 5, we can even get this landmark, the Court of the Everqueen, for free in one turn. Or we can sell this tier 3 landmark for 3,600 gold. Needless to say, these buildings would not be available for this much, nor would they just take one turn. Because, like, right here, you can see it would take 4 turns and 700, no, actually move this one too. So it would take 5 turns and almost 10k gold. You kind of start understanding why I have these lords right here. These lords are the one doing everything in this situation. And if you think what I'm pulling off right here is crazy, and let me make no mistake, it freaking is, it doesn't even, that's not even the end of it. That is not even a joke on my part. Yes, I'm going after Marafi. Just wait for Alarielle to show up. And yes, we did Confederate Tyrian. I actually Confederate Tyrian a bit earlier than I would have assumed in this campaign. So it's not a faction-wide effect, to be certain, what I'm doing here. But it's so ridiculously powerful that not doing it, jeez. I think this makes the High Elves on the same level as broken as Kislev. Actually, it's even more broken than Kislev. See, Kislev can use Ice Witch Lords to have basically free construction. The High Elves can use the load save character system to have free construction, turn 1 construction, and massive freaking levels of growth. So what exactly am I doing over here? Okay. One of the things that is available for High Elves is a specific trait from Archmage Lords. I'm not sure if I have any of them with that over here. I certainly can't afford it from an influence perspective. But it is this trait. You can actually, by the way, get Archmages with this trait on turn 1 legitimately if you're playing Elfarian, because he gets a significant influence benefit. It's just an influence aspect. Like, it's not even the question of load save character. Load save character is not the broken aspect here. this is genuinely more broken than Kislev could ever dream of, because in Kislev's case, you actually have to use the load save character system in order to make this work, whereas in an Elfarian campaign, you just have this freaking available from turn 1. Although, yes, using the load save character system will make this faster. But you get Archmages with Administrator. This stacks. So, one of the things you can do is start an Elfarian campaign a couple of times, if you do owe the Warden and the Punch DLC, and just get yourself a bunch of Administrator Mages. Minus 20% construction time for each of them, so 5 of them, 100% construction time, minus 15% construction cost for each of them. But, there's more. See, if you think that's all there is, there's also another trait you gain, Master Mason, which starts as Constructor. This also reduces the construction cost by minus 7%. And since the point of these Archmages is to reduce construction cost and time, you can understand that each of these is basically reducing construction cost by over 20%. And that is freaking absurd. Like, that is genuinely broken to the highest possible degree that you could ever imagine in a campaign. And that is not an exaggeration on my part at all. It is silly, it is broken, it is absurd, it is everything that you could imagine it being, and maybe even worse than that. Like, yes, worse than you might think on that subject. But that's not all. So I'll just end this turn right here, and I'll try and figure out the way to, well, we could cancel this building right here, because I do kind of want to get myself a Lord right here. Actually, let's cancel that repair. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah, let's get ourselves just a Lord, a random one. It doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what he's doing. We want some regiments right now there. Just to deal with... Yeah, let's just go declare war on Be'lakor, because why the fuck not? Just a bit of money, right? Kind of want that. So obviously this does only work on province by province level. But does that really matter? Because, understand, if you rush construction in a province, then you're still... If you rush construction in a province, obviously that would cost a lot of money. But if you're not paying any money, then yes, just not having to pay money in a single province saves you an astronomical amount of cash. Like, this is the first campaign as Allarielle where... Okay, so that is a bit of an auto-resolve bullshit that's going on over there. Don't get me started on that. This is the first campaign where I've been playing Allarielle where I actually went out of my way to recruit Sisters of Avalorn. Not because I need it, but because I can freaking afford them. That is no joke. I genuinely can afford them in this particular campaign. Not because my economy is generating so much money, but rather because I am saving so much money during the course of this campaign by not having to spend on buildings. That is actually a factor that does play in terms of campaign diversity, because, like, I'll give you an idea. Let's just say I sell this palace. It will go away for one turn. I sell this tier 5 building, 6,000. You have a way of getting infinite freaking money in this campaign. And this doesn't just apply for the landmarks, though the landmarks are the good choices. At least the tier 5 landmarks are the good choices, because if you can instantly rebuild them, then, well, you go figure out what ends up happening in that situation. Right? But yeah, I wouldn't necessarily sell this because I don't need it. I would probably, although I guess I could do so. Right here, because I do kind of want to keep these mages in this area right here, or to get the dragon building, or I could make the argument that, well, maybe I don't need to keep all of them, so I'm just gonna send one of these with the handmaidens that I have over here, because that's the second part of this bullshit train. Because, oh, you think it's just one portion of the bullshit train? No, no, no. There are two aspects to the bullshit train right here. Two significant aspects right here with regards to this. I guess I don't need her anymore. Yeah, the Shrine of Cain did its job, I suppose. But yeah, there's two aspects to the bullshit train. The other aspect that becomes ridiculous, and this is where Allarielle really comes into play with all of this, and just pointing out I just accomplished my short campaign victory condition. Very one, pretty reasonable. But the other aspect of the bullshit train has to do with handmaidens. See, handmaidens, each of them increase growth, right? So that's already a pretty powerful benefit they do have in this campaign. So each handmaiden gives you an additional extra growth in a location. So over here we're getting 10 extra growth just from the skill I leveled up. And if we look at, handmaidens over here, you can see that it increases growth by 10. So we're getting 20 growth over here, or 32 growth actually, because I guess there's other reasons we're getting that much growth. Anyway, so we're getting an additional growth in this province. But handmaidens are a bit interesting with regards to that growth. Actually, let me just show you something before I talk about the handmaidens. There is a lore master of OF. There's various traits. They usually cost 40 influence. For instance, the one trait you can get with the lore master of OF is the fruitful. This gives you 2 growth in all provinces, too. In all provinces. Yes, that is as ridiculous as you might think it is in a campaign. And you can get more of these guys if you're lucky enough with, like, this is where the load save character system really comes in, because you might not be able to recruit those kind of lore masters in your campaign. You probably will get mages with our administrator, regular mages. So you can get regular mages with administrator in a campaign that will do the same thing as archmages, so you don't have to pay the supply line. So once you get to a certain point in a campaign, you can just start dismissing some of these archmages and just rely on regular mages. Or if you want to use those regular mages, or maybe a combination of the two, if you want to use those regular mages in your campaign. That's up to you, how you want to view that situation in your campaign. But where it gets really absurd is one type of handmaiden that has this trait, fecund. This gives you 5 growth in all provinces and 50 growth in the local province. And you can have as many of these as you want. I have just 2 of these in this campaign. If I had gotten 4 of these, or 5 of these, or 6 of these, I would not just have a tier 5 Gate and Veil by this point, or actually several turns ago. I would have a tier 5 Lawfern, a faction I confederated. Yes, this is plain fucking bullshit. And the reason, and why would you want to do this though? Well, as I said, like, High Elves are annoying and limited and imbalanced because of all the crap they have in the early game with Spearmen and Archers, and they're just not fun to play. This does increase their power, but more importantly, actually gives you access to unit diversity. Though, would you actually use that unit diversity? I mean, it's still better to recruit Archers and Spearmen, though I guess in this one I did go for some Sisters of Avalorn and I turned 30, so there's a benefit there. In this campaign, I mean, you're still gonna, like, it doesn't fix the underlying issue of, like, you wanting to play with Spearmen and Archers, because it's just a question of, it's still more effective to go for buildings like these as opposed to, diversifying your unit recruitment. But don't get me wrong, if I had enough fecund handmaidens, if I had saved enough of those, I probably could have gone for a lot more universe diversity than I did in this campaign without having to pay a cost, because that would have saved me the time of growth. I could have gotten these provinces to a higher level, and yeah, I can recruit multiple things. But on top of that, there's also other factors. Research, like, beyond just increasing hero capacity, beyond giving you a greater diversity of units, there's also freaking research. the Maritime Empire. All sea regions are made visible to your faction. All sea regions. Construction costs. And it's even crazier because you actually have research over here that does the same damn thing effectively that your archmages are doing. Like, this is as crazy as you might think it is. So, are High Elves a great race? Yes, they are. If you bullshit your way through a campaign, sure. Are they completely and utterly broken? Yes. Is it far worse for Allarielle than for other ones? Yes. The reason Allarielle gets away with this far more than anyone else comes down to the fact that in a campaign as Allarielle, you can get Handmaiden. You start with a Handmaiden. Once you get your special skill line, you can recruit Handmaidens in any province with the Servant of Isha. And you can further increase Handmaiden capacity at freaking tier 3. That is why Allarielle is complete and utter bullshit of the highest possible degree in a campaign. Now let's take a look over here. So how much? So this is still free because they probably all got that, skill. So it's probably stacking on top of, their administrator trait. How long would it take? No, so it would be instant, all the same. So yeah, I guess 4 of them. Like initially, you might want 5 because you might need those 5 early on. But yeah, here we just move the Handmaiden Doom Chain, which is gonna give me an enormous level of growth in this campaign, like absurdly so in this specific campaign. Still gonna cost something because not all these archmages have probably the trait over there, right? So we're gonna need an extra one, which not really a problem potentially if I had saved enough in load save characters. But even paying this cost is like, that is nothing. That is less than nothing. That is insignificant to such a degree that it's not even worth talking about. Again, basically, you want to nullify any issues that Alarielle has in her campaign, and I don't even know... Oh, Be'lakor. I don't even know why the defend... Actually, yeah, Defender of Ulthuan does bug out sometimes. That's the reason. That's the level of frustration in an Alarielle campaign. I don't know what's going on. It's not like any other faction controls any... It's not like any other race controls any portion of Ulthuan. It just bugged out between Morafi's invasion and other things happening here as well. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. But on the flip side, you can completely ignore the downside of this effect and just spam Handmaidens and Archmages and get free construction and instant construction, and it gets to an absurdly broken level to a degree that you might not even anticipate. Well, I certainly didn't think things through, did I, on a certain level? Clearly. I underestimated the power of the bullshit. I mean, I always knew High Elves could be bullshit. I guess I just forgot how much bullshit they had available in their campaign. And yes, Teclis is dead, because of course he is. Is Emmerich alive? Yeah, I guess he is. So we can even start talking with Emmerich over here. By the way, just being able to see every coastline gives you so much freaking money and power. Like, this is why this is ridiculous. It's not just a question of like, oh, you're getting instant construction, you're getting free buildings. It's also like the absurd power of the diplomacy that you have available right now will literally print you money. Beyond the fact that you're already printing money, you can already print money by buying and selling landmarks every single freaking turn of your campaign, that alone giving you a lot of money. But you can go to like distant factions that will never ever attack you, and you see pretty much the entire map. Like, that is not an exaggeration. You see pretty much the entire map over here because you have those sea lanes. And so you can go declare war on the entire freaking world if you want with that research. I mean, obviously everyone has access to it. It's more ridiculous with Allarielle, but even in an Alifanar campaign, which can be pretty slow in terms of growth, like, you can still do this. It might take longer to get the growth, but once you do get to a certain level, it's like there's no stopping the train over here. Jeez. I did not think that things would get this ridiculous. I've seen some ridiculous things. I've done some ridiculous things in Warhammer 3 campaigns. Kislev, the Empire, confederating Marienburg and Elspeth within a couple of turns as Karl Franz. This takes the cake. Kostin signing out.